What's going on, everyone? Welcome into episode 85 of Smart Money Sundays. Hope you all have had a wonderful weekend and are ready to tackle the markets yet again this week. So, I kind of want to start off as usual on obviously the major currency pairs, but I just kind of want to flick through all of these pairs quickly on the weekly time frame, right? And what you'll notice is that we had some pretty strong closures on the weekly time frame, really across the board on the dollar. Now, obviously, Euro USD had traded into a significant institutional price point, that being 1.1, and we've seen a pretty strong reaction follow through ever since. We had the weekly doji candlestick, which might kind of trigger people to think that we're going to continue long, and then the following week, last week, we had that significant engulfing back down to the downside. So really the same thing happened across the board. If you look at GBP USD, not as much, right? But GBP USD also traded into kind of a significant level of price, right? An old POI that we had mapped out for quite some time, and you can see this lower high, or excuse me, this low, high, low, right? Price is creating that 1, 2, 3 pin formation, and momentum is currently still to the downside. Look at AUD USD, same deal, right? AUD USD had pretty much a kind of Maribozu close, right? Very strong closure to end the week after having traded into a significant level itself, 7,150. All right, and the same thing just continues really across the board on these dollar pairs, USD CAD, and obviously USD Swiss franc, the inverse of Euro USD. All right, and so we've had some very, very strong closures. Now, if we hop down to the lower time frame here on Euro USD, right, you'll remember we talked about trading down into this level, right, the 4-hour time frame, where we had that higher low that produced that higher high, right? And so we have closed into that level, that 1-hour down close candle. Right, the 1-hour down close here at 1.0550, which is exactly where we closed last week. All right, and so we are at a very critical juncture here, in my opinion, in terms of dollar weakness. Right, if we're going to see one more leg on the dollar, it really kind of needs to happen now. If we're going to see another leg to the upside, perhaps into 1.11, it's going to need to pretty much happen instantaneously. Yes, of course, we potentially could wick through this low, but not sustain below it. If we do break and sustain below, then I think we can certainly see a very strong sell-off and then continued dollar strength. We could very easily see price melt into at least kind of 1.01. All right, that's a 550 pip move, right? We could very easily, if we break this level here, we could very easily see price melt into at least here, all right, 1.01. All right, so this is where we kind of need to sit on our hands to start the week, right, and see how price is reacting at these levels, right? Are we going to kind of just chop around and then have a sell to buy and confirm and validate this level of market structure, right? Or are we just going to melt and breach right through it? Right, that'll be super key. So the same is really applicable to all these pairs that we've already kind of looked at on the weekly time frame. Right, GBP USD also had its 1-hour down close candle that we've been talking about for weeks now, right, which we did get the reaction from, but price traded into supply, right, where we had sells as well. Price traded into that, and we're now looking to take out, right, this initial low here. And again, right, are we going to maintain this level, this low here, right, where we had the equal lows, where we had the sell to buy, where we had the kind of accumulation below equal lows? Price, granted, didn't create a higher high. We did wick through this high by just a little bit, but we do have kind of relative equal highs here. All right, and so this, again, we're at a critical juncture here on GU, right? Are we going to wick through this low but still maintain this overall level here, and then moon, right? Break structure, and then take the pullback, right? Or are we going to melt right through it, right? Sustain below, right? And then have that shift in trend, shift in structure, in which case I certainly think price can melt directly into 1.15, right? So again, if we breach this low and sustain below it, I think 1.15 is on the cards for GBP USD. All right. So again, sitting on our hands to see what happens kind of London, New York session tomorrow so that we can get a better idea of, what's to come, right, for the kind of near medium term. All right, AUD USD, we had our 1 hour down close candle here, which we're just melting right through, right? We had a small reaction from it, but price isn't respecting it. All right. So this, to me, certainly, unless this is just some sort of liquidity run, right? Maybe running out some of these intermediate lows here, right? It's also at a critical juncture. This could just be a quick little liquidity run, and then we push higher, back up into the supply, right? Or we simply, just like EU or GU, we could very easily just sustain below, right? And then melt all the way down into 6,500, right? So if we do kind of breach and sustain, then 6,500 is on the cards, in my opinion, right, for kind of near-term objective. All right. USD CAD, this one has been somewhat disappointing, right, because on the higher time frames, we really do want to see price kind of take out these equal lows, trade at least into 1.321, if not lower into this further discounted area of demand, right, 1.3050 that we've been talking about for a while, where we had that massive daily engulfing candlestick and price never mitigated, right? We have that inefficient pricing, which is still certainly on the cards, right? But I don't see anything stopping this current kind of bull run, right? Especially the fact we have equal highs here, right? I don't really see anything stopping it, right, before we take out this kind of choppy price action here, this engineered buy-side liquidity. All right, and so we very well could kind of run through these highs and trade deeper into this area of supply here, kind of at 3,750. Trade deeper into that, and then see a final run lower, right? Or we could very easily bust right through it. So if we do breach this level, then I think USD CAD is also off to the races, right? Looking to target, obviously, our most recent high here. Okay. But until then, I certainly think that we're going to be taking out these relative equal highs, going to be taking out these highs and trading deeper into this area of supply, right? So you can obviously look for short-term buying opportunities there as well. All right, USD Swiss franc, very, very strong closure, right? Clearly looking like accumulation, and that we're breaking out now, right? That we really are shifting trend and momentum, right? Dollar strength coming into the market, which gives me pause, which gives me hesitation for looking for longs on things like EU, GU, AU. All right. So USD Swiss franc, obviously accumulated. We had this low. We ran the low out, sell to buy, traded into our supply to demand flip, right? Got the entry here, right? And now we're creating new higher highs and higher lows. All right. Certainly this trend, appears to have shifted. Right, it takes a lot, and I try to emphasize this in the education, is it, don't be too quick to judge a break in structure, right? Because oftentimes it's manipulative, oftentimes it's meant to trick you, right? And so, you end up taking some losses before finally, coming to the conclusion that trend is indeed reversing. And that's just part of it. That's just the nature of it, right? Because if you get into the habit of thinking every single time it's a trend reversal, you're going to certainly lose a lot more trades than if you're stubborn in saying that, oh, wait, trend hasn't reversed, and you lose a couple trades, and then finally you come to that kind of conclusion and have confidence behind the fact that trend is indeed reversing. All right, so this really does appear to be the case here on USD Swiss franc, right? And so in that instance, we have a couple POIs. We have our previous high here, right, for continuation, or we have this further discounted area of demand right? If we get down into that, certainly a viable level as well, kind of around 9,200 for a continuation. But again, this is all going to be dependent on, what the dollar wants to do, right? Again, we are at a critical juncture here. All right, Euro GBP, right? This is one that has traded further into an area of supply on the higher time frames, right? We had this kind of counter trend. We appeared to have broken out of it, looking for a new higher high, but we didn't, right? That was kind of a false break, right? And we broke back to the downside. All right, so now I think that we can look to target this most recent low and trade deeper into this inefficiency, kind of at 8,650. All right, and so I think it's then a matter of, especially if we can sustain, if we can have one of these, solidify that lower low, right, and then pull back into our supply, taking out our lower time frame highs. All right, this last up close here, this area of supply at 8,900, very strong level on Euro GBP. I certainly think that looks viable, plausible. Okay, so that's the level to watch out for on EG. GBP Swiss franc appears to have now shifted to the upside itself, right? After having run liquidity here, its previous low was run out, sell to buy, break, mitigation, continuation, higher high. So this bit of supply here, we reacted from it, failed, broke through. This turns into demand, right? This appears to be corrective, right? Just consolidation. If we can run sell side liquidity, trade into this previous high. Obviously, we have the inefficiency as well, right? 1.1150, that might be a good area to look for continuations long. So pretty simple, pretty straightforward on pound Swiss. Euro JPY, you'll recall, obviously we had this very strong area of supply, right? The demand to supply flip, right? We had the equal highs, price started to consolidate, slow down in momentum as we traded up into it, right? And we got our reaction, right? We secured some money here, right? But price is appearing to make another run on the highs, right? And this, this is certainly still valid, right? We could very easily trade deeper into this area of supply, right? And then see that sell off, right? Into our equal lows, which you'll recall here, equal lows. All right, so again, like I mentioned last week, it's a patience game. We have to be patient, right? Let them weed out all the retail traders, right? And then we'll get plenty of shorting opportunities. All right, so this could be a situation where we run the low, run the high, and then run the low. This low gets cleared, and it's game on, right? Then we take that pull back for the continuation. All right, so let's see how this one plays out this week. Certainly shorts are still valid, it's just not ready yet. NZD JPY is another one, right? We had I really do think that price can trade up into 86, massive inefficiency here. We're really just kind of consolidating on the higher time frames, but I think we need to at least get back up into premium on this one, right? And so if we think about the counter trend here, lower highs, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, breach, break through, break structure, right? Now consolidating, forming that kind of bull flag, right? So what I'd really like to see is kind of a run on the highs and then a run on the lows into discount, right? Into our demand at 83.20 and then see that follow through higher. Right, and that's really that kind of 1 hour down close candle that I'm looking at here. The big manipulative candle, sell to buy. All right. So that's NZD JPY, also pretty straightforward. Next is EuroCAD. Now this is one another one that I called out to, I believe on last Sunday's episode, but certainly to our VIP community. Right, we had the retracement, we had the last up close, right, buy to sell, creating relative equal lows here on the higher time frame, relative equal lows. Right, so we had our initial entry, right, off of this level. Right, so caught really almost 150 pips, right? And then I also called out the secondary level here, this up close on the 1 hour time frame to our VIP group, right? Obviously a wick entry there as well. So especially if we can break through this lower time frame demand, right? If we can break through it, maybe create some sort of demand to supply flip, solidify that new low, and you can take it on the pullback down into our equal lows, right? But that's the target. I think that's the objective here on EuroCAD. So we need to take out these higher time frame sell side liquidity. And the same goes really for GBP CAD. Right, we got the equal lows on GBP CAD. I really wanted to get up into our inefficiency here. Right, as you can see, the 30-minute inefficiency, big imbalance move entering into the market. Right, we didn't get into it immediately, but doesn't mean it's not still on the card. So certainly if we do get a run, right, if we do get a run here, I think this is a strong level to be looking for selling opportunities. 6,350, 6,360 would be the area. And then the higher time frame equal lows, sell side liquidity being the objective. Okay, looking to trade into these lows. All right, so that's GBP CAD. CAD Swiss franc, also talked about this one last week. As we were looking for bullish momentum, right, looking to target these higher time frame equal highs within these wicks. So this is one that has broken back up to the upside. So we have a couple of levels here that I think price can play off of. We have this intraday level, right, 30-minute down close. Then here, if we get a quick little pullback and continuation, or if we have a higher time frame retracement, I think price can get down into 6,850. Right, this area of demand, right, also for that follow through. So we have a couple levels of interest here that we should be looking to play off of, keeping on our radar for this week. All right, and then the final potential POI for this week is going to be US 30. Right, this is one that I don't really talk about, don't really look at often, but US 30 has traded into higher time frame supply and appears to have distributed in price. Right, we have the higher time frame supply, ran liquidity, traded into previous supply. Right, we have the manipulation here, we have the run lower. Right, failure to create a higher high. It appears that we're changing character. Right, after this manipulation here with this wick running buy side liquidity, this appears to be getting ready to absolutely melt. All right, and so I think the last point of supply that could be valid to be playing off of, right, where we had the demand reaction flip, right, institutions enter into the market, right, if we can trickle back up into there, I think that might be a strong level to be playing off of around 33,600 on US 30. So that's just an area to mark off and to watch out for lower time frame price action. All right, so I hope you enjoyed that branching out a little bit. All right, so that kind of sums it up for this week. I know it's kind of a short video, guys, but I'm really trying to render all of these course videos, the Smart Money Supply and Demand Crash Course, get them ready for you on the website. So it's really taken a lot of my time and effort for you guys right now, but I certainly wanted to get this Smart Money Sundays video out there for you, so that you're prepared for the week and you have the kind of bias and higher time frame levels. Remember to kind of be patient with the dollar. We're at critical point. No need to jump in anything right off the bat. We can just wait and see what happens London, New York session tomorrow, and then we'll have probably stronger convictions as to where we're heading in the near medium term. All right. Thanks, guys. Hope you have a wonderful week, and we'll talk to you again soon. Thanks.